All right. Welcome
We're live.
everybody to the Thursday, July 16th meeting of the Capital and Expense Budget Committee. Um, so let me share my screen and go to the document that has our kind of core working document that has, the resources that we've prepared for the submission for next year, as well as the agenda and so on. Um, So the first thing I wanted to talk about is just some of the action items from last month's meeting. So why don't we start with that? I think a lot of these uh, we've we have done. So there's not too much to talk about, but I did reach out about the screen and space issues, uh, and Leo agreed to help navigate that. So I started a sort of a working group to talk about hybrid meetings and so on. I think Amparo, if you're able to, I think Roz also mentioned your name in this setting, and I'm not sure if it's something you wanted to get involved in, but if so, I'd certainly love to include you. The context here was trying to make the hybrid committee meetings better, basically address um, the screen and the audio issues that sometimes happen. And I did write down your name here, so since you're on the call, I might as well ask. Is that something you're interested? I mean, it's totally fine if not, but is that something you're interested in helping Leo sort out?
Sure. I'm happy to help with that. I know that there was some talk about there's another Manhattan Community Board, how they were doing, right? Like how they were doing their meetings, right? And
Yeah, that was
so,
specifically about voting.
okay,
But
okay.
uh, which I know is something Leo is also getting involved in. Oh, Roz is joining. Fantastic. But
I'm
great.
just wondering if there's other technological lessons learned that we can kind of discuss
Oh,
with
I'm sure there are. So great. If that is something you're interested in, I'll definitely put you in. Hey Roz, let's see if Roz has come online.
Hello. Yeah, yeah, I'm here.
Here you are.
I
Good.
am in all my glory.
Welcome. We just got started. So
Yeah.
the next couple of things were outreach related, and I think on newsletter stuff, as I understand it, this is sorted out. That Eric and Leo and several other folks have worked together on the newsletter and
Congratulations.
yeah, expect that to go out soon. Um, Raphael, there was a note here about outreach to businesses. I was curious if you were able to follow up on this.
So I haven't the past month, but I'll definitely follow up within the next week. I'm just a little bit behind,
No, all
but
good.
I'll give that priority.
No,
Thanks.
I really appreciate it. And thank you for all that you've done.
Thanks.
Um, Next things are for Eric, who I know can't make it, but he did kind of share a list of orgs for outreach and we did reach out to LIC partnerships and Woodside on the Move and a few other groups. So I think LaGuardia Community College in the context of the survey outreach. Um, and similarly, I sent these assets to Maury. So I think that's all pretty good. Um, I think kind of continuing that conversation, I'd love to chat with you all about survey outreach. So we are, you know, I would say about halfway through our survey window, having started early in the summer, and now we're about midway through the summer. We have 135 responses as of today, two of which are from the Spanish version of the survey, which is not a lot, but we've never had any of these before. So so that is cool. Was cool to see that there were folks who responded to the survey in Spanish using the Spanish language questions. Um, I'd love to just talk with folks here about sort of, I feel like we've sort of plateaued, and maybe we'll get some energy when some of the groups we've reached out to circulate this, and when the newsletter circulates it. But just some of the incremental next steps. Um, if anyone has any ideas, I'd love to sort of chat through and brainstorm.
Are we sharing the survey through social media platforms?
I don't know that we've used the board's social media, actually.
But we could. The office has a Facebook and we also have an Instagram and we do have a LinkedIn. So if we post it there, maybe we also get more responses.
No, I think that's a very that's like low-hanging fruit we should definitely use. I think it's a great idea. I know we've had some trouble with our Facebook. I'm not sure if that's resolved or what the status is. Rafael, do you know?
Yeah, Maury, he's leading the effort to recover our Facebook account. So he's gonna stop by the office tomorrow so that
Okay.
we can reach out to like Alan Swisher and potentially ask him for guidance on how we can recover it so that we can start putting up event information and our survey info there as well.
That's great. What about
Mhm.
Instagram? My understanding was we do have access. There's no issue with that one. So
Yeah, no issue with that one, though. Like, if Anatole would like for me to post a survey on social media, I'm more than happy to do that. But I'll defer to him on that.
Anatole, can we post it? Um,
Yeah, go for it.
awesome.
Okay, cool.
So let
Will
me
do.
take that. Just go ahead and
I also say a clean slate for Facebook. Um, non-Facebook folks are not going to be able to help people. So might as well, we'll regain followers. That's
yeah, I'd love for us to. So thank you for that. I would love for us to try to recover the Facebook account before making a new one, just because I think um it's not good for there to be two authentic looking accounts that say Queens Community Board 2. Um, I mean, it might even trigger like integrity, like there are systems that look for duplicate or impersonating accounts, and we could get flagged if we have two different ones that look similar. So I would hope, I mean, if we can at all recover our existing one, that would be my preference. But obviously, if there's just no way, then I think we have to make a new account. But I'm curious what Maury comes up with. Cool. So yeah, I think the IG, like posting on Instagram for the, sort of near term step, and perhaps Facebook is a is a good one. Roz?
Yeah, um, Raphael and I managed to make up a folder. We found the 11 by 17 pages, and we put the Know Your Community Board on part of it, but we also put the survey and the Spanish version. And we also, Michael, I think you put the link in from one to the other so
That's right.
that if people, I mean, it was embarrassing when we went out to table that day and Michelle Hernandez was brilliant and we found all these people that were Spanish speakers and yet we didn't have, I mean, you gave us the link, but we really couldn't do anything right there on the street. And so we've solved that problem. Maybe we'll get some more. But the window of time for the survey ends in August. And during August, my understanding from Woodside on the Move is that they do tabling events, and I imagine a lot of other people do too, to hand out backpacks and school supplies. So, that would be a good time. And uh, I mean, we could probably on one day get rid of within an hour our our existing bags of swag, but we could still be handing out those flyers and such. So I won't be around a lot of August, but it's there. Please use it up.
Yeah, thank you for doing all the outreach. And Michelle also, it's cool that we now have all these materials in both English and Spanish. But so it
Yeah.
sounds like the sort of tactical next step there is trying to identify these in-person events and find folks to cover them, right?
Yeah, Philo of Woodside on the Move is, because I guess they had that open street for June, on the weekends, but now they're off until August.
Is that right? Okay. So is it the open street in August?
I don't think it's an open street. It's
Okay.
it's a school backpack giveaway. So
see.
I mean, I'm sure all the electeds will also be doing those kinds of things. So we can clone onto those events.
That's great. I'm curious if anyone here could and I can also reach out to Eric, but if anyone is interested in trying to identify some of those in-person events, either in July or August, and see if we can cover them.
Yeah, Julie and Stephen Raga also have it, the backpack event.
Mhm.
Great. I'll reach out to Eric, who I know can't make it, but has been interested in and has participated in a lot of these outreach events, and maybe he can, if not himself, try to find folks on the committee.
We have a banner now. We'll be having what, tablecloths and covers or something,
I
Raphael?
believe we bought the tablecloths, no?
We may have it. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
So a parade banner. I think there was some difficulties with the purchase because of mod approval. I reached out to Avi so we can get that figured out. But I'm also going to have to reach out to Jay from OMB to figure out what's going on with that. And once that's done, we'll be placing the order for the parade banner. And I'll be keeping you in the loop with that. But we do have the banner. It's arrived in the office. The payment has been processed. So we're good on that.
That's a big banner. That's for parades and marching and stuff,
Mhm.
right? I think. But we also need tablecloths that we can use because when you have a table, like I use the bags because they say Queens Community Board too on it. But when you give out all the bags, now what?
Yeah.
Raphael, just to check my understanding there, so we did purchase the parade banner, and that is okay,
Yeah, parade banner, that's good.
but the
We have that.
tablecloth is the one where we have
tablecloth-
this issue.
That's right. That's right.
And for that one, is that going to come out of, and totally fine either way, I'm just like trying to
Yeah.
understand. Is that going to come out of this year's budget or last year's budget?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay, we just
I think it can only come out of this year's. Last
Yeah.
year's was closed.
No, yeah, last year's is closed. I agree. I just wanted to confirm because I had thought we had purchased it at the end of June, but
We took whatever monies were left and we could get it Staples, I think. I don't know what
Yeah.
but the
Okay.
part of the thing with the tablecloths, they're not really expensive necessarily. We could get generic tablecloths and put our banner or, our sign. The tables, usually they're 6 feet, sometimes they're 8 feet, sometimes they're 4 feet, but I would get a 6-foot one.
okay. Well, thank you for sorting out the code mod stuff, Raphael.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I know
Mhm.
that's a pain. But cool. As far as the next steps on outreach, then I think the social media stuff is one very concrete follow-up, and then I can follow up with Eric to ask if he's interested in leading on some of the outreach. And great. Anything else anyone wants to talk about on survey responses?
I did want to know what were the responses from the two Spanish speakers. When I click it, it just sent me to the survey. So I was wondering if you could translate or.
Yeah, I can share. I don't since it's recorded, I'm not sure I want to like show it on the screen right now because it's only two. But I'll share I'll like just directly share the response link with you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. And I do know that Eric reached out to the Blissful Civic Association, but I'm not sure that we got responses from the association as such. Like I think we have a couple responses from folks who live in the neighborhood. But one thing I was curious about comparing what we've heard from last year versus this year's, I think we haven't heard from all of the organizations as such. What I mean is like last year, I know that Long Island City Partnerships sent us like a official response, and I think Blissful Civic did as well. Woodside on the Move did as well. Sunnyside Community Services, and I think some of those orgs have taken the survey. Like Sunnyside Community Services, I believe has, but I'm not sure that I think there are other groups that represent important constituencies in our community, and we can reach out to them. So I think that's one item that I would like to take on, unless someone else wants to. But just to reach out to some of the organizations and ask for their sort of their takes on community needs.
What about the churches? Because we normally have partnered with the churches for the holiday food drive or like the coats. So maybe San Rafael Church, Saint Teresa Church, La Jornada, I'm sorry. La Jornada, and I'm blinking, but I'm gonna remember. Oh, and LIC, Culture Lab. So maybe we get also share it with them. I
Yeah,
can forward you those contact emails.
yeah, that would be great. I don't have the contact information for the churches, for example, and so if you're able to send their contact info to me, I'd love. Or I mean, you're also certainly more than welcome to just directly send them the survey, but I'm also happy to do it. Up to you. So, would you like to send the contact info to me, and then I'll just sort of send one email?
I'll share it with you. Yeah.
Okay, great. Oh, let me write down for.
I
Awesome.
would also include, if you're doing the churches, the ones in Sunnyside Reformed Church, and Father Carl of the Episcopal Church, because they're really very active in the community.
Yeah, any faith tradition, any neighborhood, I'm very happy to send it to anybody.
Yeah.
I just need the contact info. I mean, see if I can find. I imagine many of these organizations have a public facing outreach email.
Yeah.
But if folks, are aware of any organizations, faith institutions or otherwise, I'd love to reach out. Amparo?
Wondering if Rabbi Weinberg could also send it to his congregation, because he's a new community board member, right? So we should
Sure.
definitely put his name down.
Great. Maybe Raphael, I can get his contact info from you and I can reach out to him.
Yeah. I'll share it with you.
I think that's a great idea because I think when we have new members and, there's a whole onboarding process, but engaging them in a specific thing or that gets the ball rolling, and maybe this would be what would get him more actively involved.
Yeah, no, that's great. I also think, it's another it's just another community in our district, and it would be good to have that perspective captured. Great. Awesome. I think we have a healthy list of next steps. And yeah, if anyone has any other ideas, certainly feel free to reach out or just send the survey. I did want to spend a decent amount of time, and I suppose the remainder of our time, just talking about last year's responses to our statement of needs from city agencies. And as part of that, kind of brainstorm and strategize and start, I think, to build a habit of thinking about follow-up, because I think historically we've sent this out and agencies have responded and the process has sort of ended. But there's probably more to do in terms of engaging with agencies, and also I think engaging with our elected officials in the context of how agencies responded. So to kind of frame the conversation a little bit, I wanted to show a couple of things to you all. So I don't think this is actually the right link. Let me see if I can find it, but it'll get there. Yeah, it's this guy. Will this work? Let's see. But I organized, and I also reached out, individually to committee chairs and co-chairs and vice chairs to talk about specific requests related to that committee. But just I wanted to high level. I don't like what this looks like. Go over a few things. So I mean, this is like the broad landscape of it. Like 40% of responses they did not support. About a quarter each support and can accommodate, and support and cannot accommodate, and so on. For a larger proportion of capital requests, they said cannot accommodate, but I think a lot of this is that DEP said no to everything. In our community and in virtually every community, which is an interesting habit of the way that agency responds to community boards and their statement of needs requests. But that's what that looks like. But I wanted to just talk a little bit about, at a high level, about what the responses look like, and then go through some specific examples. So one category of response, which DEP falls in this category, is they just say, we don't support and cannot accommodate. Please contact the agency directly. That's a very common category. I think all we can do is try to find agency contacts and follow up, given that response. There are some where, they state that the request went to the wrong agency, and I think the action item there is either to correct the agency or not to send the request. And then some gave more specific or nuanced reasons for why they didn't support something. And there's, maybe some more specific kind of outreach we could do there. But there's also quite a few that fall into this category. And, I don't want to talk through all of this, but if you want to read through it, you're certainly more than welcome to. There are several that fall into this category of supports and cannot accommodate, and a lot of this often comes down to budget. I wanted to talk through a few examples just to illustrate. So this is also linked out from the doc, but I kind of organized our responses as well as for other boards, and then our requests rather, and then agency responses and so on. But for several, like for example, the Saba Park requests that our board sent, and there was a similar request for a different park where we stated there was some issue, like the park lacks lighting or the park lacks appropriate fencing, and they say support and cannot accommodate, and they say parks does not have capital funding for this project. The CB can advocate to its elected officials for capital funding. And I think this, to me, the insight here is we should probably pass resolutions about some of these capital requests, because otherwise we're just going to get these kinds of responses from agencies. Like, not that we shouldn't ask agencies, but they cannot fund a capital request that there isn't funding for from the city council. So I think there is kind of this gap of making sure that we also communicate with our elected officials about these requests. And I think this comes up in a few other places, like lighting improvements and so on, where they basically say we don't have funding for it. And so I wonder if there's some opportunity, or if the board should sort of pass more resolutions about funding for specific projects, kind of in parallel with this process. I don't want to talk too much. I'd love to just stop sharing my screen and kind of chat with you all for a little bit. But yeah, I did just want to kind of raise this conversation and share some of these resources with you all, so that you can see the flavor of responses, and also, see how they responded to other agencies. I think one very concrete follow-up that I'd love to work with the office on, as well as with all of you, is just kind of building out the roster of agencies. Like, who are our agency contacts for these different agencies? So I'm curious if anyone wants to take the lead on that.
I can work on that. I wanted to update. So we have email blast for the district services meeting, and I've realized that a few of them are like outdated. So I want to do some outreach with like the MTA, the double R, to figure out who their reps are, to like look into issues for like constituent complaints.
Mhm.
But I can help lead that and hopefully modernize it so we have our up-to-date contacts.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I wonder
Yeah.
if when you have that list, if that can be like a resource that's shared with committee chairs as well. So like for example, when an agency says contact the agency directly, which they often say in these requests, it's not at all clear how one does that.
Yeah, definitely. Shouldn't be a problem. Mhm.
That's great. There's also a lot of these, as I had mentioned, a lot of requests where they say we support you, but we don't have funding, contact your elected officials. And I'm kind of curious about how to follow up there. And I wonder if anyone has any ideas. I mean, my impulse there is like we do send letters to elected officials, so perhaps the next step is for, committees or maybe the full board to write requests citing the agency response and sending the letter to elected officials saying we think this should be a capital project.
Especially now that we have a new class of some of the elected officials, and they'd be they seem, and I think there's an opportunity there to really uh, help get ahead of a lot of what we want to accomplish, right? Um, so I think there's an opportunity there also.
I wonder if some of the lame duck electeds have monies now that they kind of want to spend and, in there, because you should, any opportunity, whatever works.
You mean
know?
discretionary funds?
Yeah, well, sure. Anything like that. But I wonder, Michael, you've done so much work on this. It's just amazing to me. And so I don't want to burden you further, but I would think that on these ones where it says contact the agency further, maybe if you sorted them by, and forward it to the committee chairs, the appropriate committee chairs for those few, that these would be things we might want to prepare a letter. Maybe that would help make that happen. Maybe that would be able to be put on the agenda for their September meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I did email the committee chairs with like their specific requests and how agencies responded. But it wasn't quite as pointed as like, hey, there is this one request where they said, well, they generally say contact the agency, so it's not
Well, but put all
yeah.
those of that category together so that,
Yeah. I think in particular for parks, that's the one where it felt the most actionable for me. And so maybe I can follow up with the Parks and Recreation Committee. Oh, Maury just joined us. Because yeah, I think for that one there were a couple of requests where they were like, we support you, but or we support this request, but there's no capital project to invest in Saba Park or in Hunters Point Park or whatever. So we can't do it. So I think I can reach out directly to them. I'm curious to hear from any of the committee chairs, sort of how they think about this. Like what would be most helpful for you all in terms of following up on some of the requests.
Well, I'm the co-chair, but I would say yes, if we have the information and if it's really in one of the three top priorities, we should make a priority to reach out to all the elected officials and send a letter. And not only from the committee, I think it would also be from CB2.
Mhm.
So they can, it's on top of their view that this is what we want. And we're asking them to find some budget for us.
It also might be that the committee chairs, this would give them a guide of maybe who it might be possibly within those agencies to invite to speak to the committee. And one way to get committees or people to support things is you get them to talk about them and, advocate for them, and suddenly they become bigger believers.
Yeah, I'm curious then. I mean, so I believe the board September meeting is going to be very long
I'm
already.
talking about the committee meetings.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that completely. I'm curious though, when we send letters, do they and they come from the full board? Does that means the full board votes on them, or how do we think about committee letters from committees versus letters from the full board?
I really don't know if we know the result. We seem to be sending letters from the committees. I always think it's helpful to have the full board, but at least for some of these items I don't know that there's anybody here who's terribly worked up, for example, about Saba Park. I had to look it up, and it's at 48th and, Greenpoint. I mean, not sure quite what they have in mind, but at least coming from the committee would be at least a step in the right direction. Maybe we get somewhere.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter really. It's all about the who's the recipient on the other end, right? Is Maury still here? Yeah. So I mean, Maury, I think you told me years ago, I've verified that unless it's a ULURP or shockingly little needs to come from full boards from the full board. I mean, except for the issue that I brought up earlier today, but for Sunnyside Shines. But most things can be handled by committee, and like I would suggest that being able to send letters from the committee helps us be more nimble and flexible, right? Like depending on what the issue is.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I would say, like, if we're gonna try to make this a process, depending on what the issue is, let's first send the letter from the committee, and then save the full board's voice for things that we really want to add power behind, because like, the recipient of the other end, like depending on the agency or the contact of the agency, sometimes all they need is like, hey, look, the community board's telling me to do this, right? That's all they need.
Yeah, great. No, I'm kind of convinced just from a practicality perspective that just given the number, it would certainly make sense for committees to drive this. And if there is like an issue that cuts across several committees or that's of supreme importance, maybe it goes to the full board. But ideally, I think we would send several letters, and so to have the full board vote on it, I think would be burdensome. So yeah, I think that that's a good approach, and I did reach out to committee chairs earlier this week just to kind of send them some resources about agencies and so on, and how they responded. But I think to be like more pointed about maybe encouraging them to write a letter to elected officials where that makes sense might be a way to go. So thanks, Maury.
Yeah, I was just gonna say if it's like really important, but not to the level that it has to have the full board's backing, and we could always do like a co-signature where it's signed by the chair of the committee, and then ask the chair Anatol if he would co-sign so that it has both signatures on there if that's needed. Otherwise, just the committee chair.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And Raphael says, yes, we do something similar with transportation. I think that, yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think, yeah, as we kind of talked about last month, I think we spend a decent amount of time getting all these requests and sending them out. And I think we're doing ourselves a disservice if we don't kind of take the final step of then connecting this to our elected officials and also engaging with the agencies. When they do say, contact the agency for more information, like what does that mean? What are the opportunities for influence? So that's the point I would like to land. Maury, I see your hand is raised. Do you have another?
I forgot to put it down.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, all good. All good. Awesome. We've gotten through, so I can share my screen for just one more second. Sorry. Let me make sure. Okay. I mean, I just took a couple more notes, I think, while my screen was not shown, which is the agency reps piece. And then, I mean, I think in particular, I would like to reach out to the Parks Committee, but I think more generally, I'll also see kind of specifically where it might make sense to have a letter to elected officials and to follow up with folks on with committee chairs and so on. So I think that's one that I can take. But I think those are the points that I had wanted to talk about today. Is there anything anyone else would like to talk about? Hey, Amparo, I see your hand is raised.
Thank you. One other outreach suggestion I would like to charge us all with. I just sent the community needs survey to my tenants association.
Oh, amazing.
And I think that all of us should do that as well if we have such an organization we have access to.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for doing that. I think this is a great suggestion.
That's a great reminder. Yeah, I totally forgot about that, and I'm involved in my association. Thanks.
Perfect.
I want to see you.
Thank you, Amparo. That's terrific. And thank you, Maury, as well. But yeah, I think any other sort of communities that we have access to, I think it makes good sense to outreach to.
I have one request regarding in regards of these letters.
Mhm.
So everyone says when I open the website, I don't know where to go or where to find. And honestly, you just type it in and find the letters, but not everyone is there. So could we make sure that we move that around so people have it like on the little square down there to the right? And that is one of the just click to go. So it could be a little more accessible to everyone.
Do you mean the community needs survey?
No. Or letters of support.
Letters of support.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. I mean, yeah.
We moved them. We moved them. They used to be very much buried.
Yeah, I would not know how to
I
find.
forget where they are.
Yeah, you type it in the search bar, but if someone is looking without typing it in, it's not easy to find it. And I
Is it
have
under?
got
See, yeah, I think you're
a
right.
lot of times.
Yeah.
Is it under resources?
Yeah, it's on the opening screen, I believe now.
It's under advisories.
Advisories, that's it.
Maybe we need to change the name.
Yeah, I think
Well-
advisories is a bit unclear.
So come up with a different name. I think that's easy. I think
Letters of support.
Yeah.
Or letters.
Yeah, we had Raphael and I thought it was a brilliant name, but then when we realized that you have advisories about I don't know, tornadoes.
Oh, that's the
coming in.
advisories. It's a main nav under about.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
So
just totally
I mean,
missed that.
with a better name, we want it up there. That's what we do.
Yeah, but we should think and not in our terms, but what someone with no experience with the community board, what they would think it is.
well, come up with a different name. I don't, I think that's it, but it's up front and center to have that stuff.
It's from a big main navigation. So
I
that's
just-
good.
While
I
we're
can't
all on the
believe I'm-
website and chatting about it, I noticed that we have a Twitter. So our website says Facebook, YouTube, Twitter.
Yeah, I think we stopped using that when it got bought. But we do technically have a Twitter. And the nice thing is all of our social is our Queen CB2, right? Or CB2 Queens. I think it's Queen CB2.
CB2. Yeah, I guess my concern, I mean, I would love for us to be using all of these resources to try to get folks involved and, I mean, tactically to take the survey, but like more generally to learn about the board's work. But I worry a bit because, you know, the Facebook right now is dormant because we don't have access. The Twitter has no posts. So I wonder if at the very least we could put the Instagram there because that seems to be our most active. I mean, our YouTube is quite active, right? Like we're streaming videos all the time. But I wonder if there's some just like low hanging fruit. I mean, I think there's potentially a lot to do on the website, but maybe some low hanging fruit there. I don't know if anyone would want to, anyone on the call would maybe want to put some thought into website design. But I think to these points around like, you know, outreach and trying to make sure electeds hear the board's perspective and members of the community do, as well as just like things like making the survey visible. I think there's potentially some low hanging fruit. Is that something anyone would be interested in taking the lead on?
When I was working with Raphael during the summer earlier, it seemed to me that everything had to go to do it, and you know, it was I mean, it was doable, but not
Not
in
easy.
a major way. And I wish the engagement committee would have a task force that would really focus on the website and determine whether we're going to stay with the do it kind of model or look at what some of the other boards do that are much more effective and appealing.
But that was in our budget request, budget so we can redesign the website. And also we were looking into LaGuardia students to see if they could help us. Have you talked to Amaris about this? Because he knows we had already this conversation. We were also thinking about posting some images and doing like a photo contest and a few other things so we can update and have it a little more active and not just the same picture forever.
Yeah, I know. I know that the newsletter is going to include this photo competition that you referenced, and I think Omari's and Leo have been talking about it. But just there are even some basic things about like, you know, which social media are listed and so on, where I think it might make sense to change. And to put the survey is actually pretty visible. Now that I think about it. But okay, I mean, I'll follow up. I think that's a tactical next step is I'll follow up with Leo and Omari's to see if they're interested in some of this. Maury, I see that you're unmuted. Is there something you wanted to share?
No, I forgot.
Okay.
I forgot to mute back.
No, all good. I do think though one very concrete thing that is kind of in the genre of what we were talking about in terms of letters and making letters visible is potentially renaming the advisories tab. And so I'm not sure. I mean, I think I can either myself or hopefully work with somebody to brainstorm a name. And I think board actions is probably a fine name.
Let's just do that. Let's just
Yeah.
do it for now. Do it for now, and you know.
Okay, that should be updated by tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's an action item for Raphael.
And then we could have like.
I also connected you with Rabbi Weinberg just now.
Terrific.
So,
thank you
well,
so much. You've already knocked out two before we close the board. I'll leave it on the list so that we can sort of celebrate it next month. But but I appreciate
love
that.
it.
Awesome. That's all I have. Is there any other final final comments from anybody or?
I was just say that if we have resolutions somewhere, we could put those in that same board actions and maybe we could just have sub navs for those. And it could include anything else, resolutions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Letters and correspondence or any other thing that we
Yeah.
acted on in the community.
I think that all of this is where we have to have that kind of a task force. I mean, LaGuardia students aren't going to be at the design level. And for instance, do we want to subdivide it by committee, by date? How do we want to organize it? That's all, these are all important things, but at least let's do the board actions.
Yeah, I think there's potentially a lot to do, but if we can fix one thing today, let's do that.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Well, I appreciate everybody's time and attention. I think we have
Should I make a motion to adjourn?
Why not?
Second.
All right.
Mason can third.
All in favor?
All in favor? Yeah, I think we're all done here.
Do we have the date for our next meeting?
It is in August.
August 20th, right?
It is August 20th, Thursday, 6 p.m. So I will
Okay.
see you there. And we'll
Oh, and there's an issue that Sunnyside Shines needs the full boards. Well, Sunnyside Shines needs our support, and the city needs a plurality of the board to show its decision. So I've the next executive committee meeting, we'll try to do like the open meetings law type of vote, but it'll be mainly the executive committee. Yeah, because the executive committee can step in when the full board's out of session. So this is just more of an FYI. But yeah,
talking about like next week,
that's
right?
a big update. The one next week, exactly.
Are we going to be really insistent upon it being actually in person? Because
I don't want to. The city already told for context, it's for 200. It's for a 250K grant.
Yeah.
For like services for like street cleanup and things like that. I think more on the south side of the boulevard. So the city told Sunnyside Shines that just we tried already. The letter from me and Maury, it wasn't enough. So they just want to see a vote count. So that's what I want to show.
And can I just
yeah.
understand? Is that you're saying we just need a quorum of the executive committee, or we need
quorum of the we need 3 people.
Great.
In the office.
Yeah, because we did a vote on the small business committee and we did a letter of support, but it turned out they would not accept a letter of support. It had to be an actual resolution with whereas and who fors and all that.
Yeah. So as long as you follow open meetings law, technically the executive committee is representing the full board. So yeah, we just need 3 people in person.
So
what's the quorum and how much is it worth to you?
So it sounds like the executive committee will meet in person next week to vote on this resolution
on Tuesday. Yeah, it's just an FYI for more folks on the call.
Cool. Thanks, Anatol. Thanks, everybody. Take care.